Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 DLF Forum. I am delighted to welcome you to this year's events from my home in Baltimore, Maryland. I'd like to acknowledge that Baltimore is situated on the unceded land of the Susquehannock, Piscataway, and Nantego-Nanticoke peoples. I wish to pay my respect to the elders and past and present citizens of these groups. As you may remember, CLIR's intention had originally been for us to all be here together in Baltimore right now, just a few miles from where I am sitting. But 2020 had other plans. This year's forum and the rest of the world look a lot different from what we imagined when we signed the contract with the Baltimore Renaissance Hotel back in 2018. It's disappointing to not be able to come together in person, to see old colleagues and friends and make new ones, to munch on conference meals, to battle with the hotel Wi-Fi. And yet, 2020 has brought great opportunity for the forum and the DLF community. First, all of our events are free this year, opening the doors to folks from all different professional levels, institutions, regions, and countries. By the time registration closed on November 1st, we had over 2,000 people signed up for the forum, more than 3 times the number of people who joined us in Tampa last year. Because all of our materials are pre-recorded, we're able to offer full transcripts and captioning for all presentations for all of our conferences this year. So there's exciting potential for growing this community and for making it more inclusive and accessible amidst the challenges and chaos of this year. Moving our events online required a complete re-envisioning. As we were deciding what shape our events would take, we looked for examples of great online events that took place this spring. I want to acknowledge 2 events that played a huge role in how we planned for the week that's coming: the 2020 High Ed Web Accessibility Summit and my conversations with Erica Boltz and Debbie Kramer about that event, and the Denver Public Library's Advancing Racial Equity and Inclusion in the Workplace Symposium, led by the amazing Ozzy Aliya. If we can create safe online communities that are as inclusive and accessible as these events, we will be on the right track. A note on community safety and inclusion. As is the case every year, to help keep this wonderful community safe, all of our events this week are guided by DLF's Code of Conduct. This fall, our amazing Committee for Equity and Inclusion helped us revise this Code of Conduct to be more explicit about expectations and reporting procedures for online events. We ask all attendees to review the Code of Conduct at diglib.org/code. We know that the best problem solving and critical thinking happens when people with a wide array of experiences and perspectives come together to work in comfort and safety as peers. We therefore expect participants in the DLF community to help create thoughtful and respectful environments where that interaction can take place. If you see or experience a Code of Conduct violation, you can tell us about it by phone at 732-RESPECT, by email at respect@clir.org, by tagging a CLIR staff member in the conference Slack, or with the anonymous reporting form linked on the Code of Conduct webpage. Thank you for helping to keep our community safe, open, and respectful. Community. I've said this word a lot in the last few minutes, and we've communicated it a lot over the last few months. Indeed, community, and specifically building community while apart, is the central guiding focus of this year's DLF Forum, a priority which arose from your responses to a variety of surveys we did this spring. And though we are physically apart, community is at the very core of this year's event. And it's important to acknowledge the amazing work so many of you did to help this event come to fruition, because it wouldn't have without you. Our program committee helped us form not 1, but 2 calls for proposals, reviewed the submission pool, helped us decide what we should present this year, and formulated it into a compelling, compact 2-day program that we're so excited for you to all finally see over the next 2 days. Peer reviewers assessed the more than 115 submissions for this year's Virtual DLF Forum so that each proposal was considered by at least 4 different people. Our sponsorship committee, chaired by the intrepid Ann Hanlon, helped us reformulate a suite of offerings from sponsors that we had already rethought for 2020, a heavy lift of work twice. Our community committee dreamed up activities and events that would get you excited to celebrate this week's events together online, and even more importantly, to help you stay well in the process. You can check out the amazing activities and resources they've put together on our event website and on the program agenda online. Our scholarship committee's charge also changed completely from helping us determine who would receive a limited number of comprehensive fellowships to attend our in-person event, to helping us decide which new voices to highlight in our first ever community journalist program. Congratulations, by the way, to our 12 community journalists who will be attending our events, many for the first time, and sharing their experiences on the DLF blog afterwards. Our Committee for Equity and Inclusion and our Digital Accessibility Working Group put in a ton of work to bring you a variety of huge projects that impacted our event this year, including a fabulous new Creating Accessible Presentations webinar, a revised DLF Code of Conduct with more explicit steps for making reports online, a presentation and conversation on active bystanders in virtual spaces, and a guide to Slack to get us all up and running there. These groups also helped us identify which platforms to use and how to make all of our content most accessible. If you're curious about these resources, they're all on our website. As you can see, a lot of people worked together to make this year's DLF Forum happen, and we are so grateful to everyone who played any part in the planning. We hope the work of so many community members will translate to a big community feeling as we come together this week to watch sessions on Aviary and talk about them over Slack. On the note of community, of people, there are a few more important people and partners I'd like to quickly highlight. First, for two special sessions this year, CLIR is partnering with the HBCU Library Alliance to showcase projects and collections from HBCU libraries during a couple of DLF Forum sessions. Nina Ishokri, a board member of the HBCU Library Alliance, worked tirelessly to compile these sessions, and they're full of exciting content. We are grateful for the time, energy, and hard work of Nina, Executive Director Sandra Phoenix, and all of the presenters at the 6 HBCUs featured for agreeing to share their work and projects with the forum audience. On a larger year-round level, I want to take a moment to acknowledge, too, the hard work and support of the DLF Advisory Committee. This group is composed of so many thoughtful individuals who really care about the DLF community and who have provided great insight and support through this unpredictable year. We're grateful that they share their expertise and vision with us. And lastly, where would we be without CLIR staff? You'll be hearing from a couple of them, including our president, Chuck Henry, in just a moment. Developing this year's events has been a huge team effort on the internal side as well. And I personally am so grateful for the support, especially of these folks who helped with everything from drafting and carefully editing every communication we shared, to getting the videos up and running on our platforms, to suggesting helpful event models, to reviewing and moderating and mentoring and more. Thanks, team. Before you have a chance to hear from my colleagues, I'll take a moment to quickly go through some logistics. If you're watching this video, you've made an Aviary account and signed on successfully. Congratulations. Discussions for the forthcoming keynote and all other conference sessions will be happening over our event Slack space. You should have received an invitation to the forum Slack in your email last week. If you're still having trouble getting connected to Slack, send us an email to forum@diglib.org or tweet using the hashtag DLFVillage and we'll help you out. On the note of hashtags, we'll be using them again this year. Tweet about our events using the hashtag DLF Forum. Get help from us or the community on DLF Village, and don't forget to share pet pictures with DLF Pets. We have community notes again this year. Head to bit.ly/2020CLIR for our shared notes at all events this year. In addition to OSF, the platform in addition to Aviary, the platform you're using to watch this video also holds relevant presentation materials in OSF. We are so excited to be using Aviary again this year, a product of AB Preserve, as a platinum sponsor of our events. Thank you, Aviary. And on that note, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Louisa Kwasigroch, CLIR's Director of Outreach and Engagement and Interim DLF Senior Program Officer, to tell you about all of our amazing sponsors, without whom this event wouldn't be possible.
Thanks, Aliya. Hello, Everyone. I am speaking to you from Oak Park, Illinois, the unceded land of the Council of the Three Fires, the Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations, and the Illinois Confederacy, the Peoria and Kaskaskia nations. A land acknowledgement is only a small part of supporting Indigenous communities. I hope this statement will encourage others to stand in solidarity. I'm Louisa Kwasigroch, Director of Outreach and Engagement at CLIR and Interim DLF Senior Program Officer. And it has been my great joy to be involved with supporting the DLF community and the DLF Forum since 2013. First with DLF Director Rachel Frick, and then DLF Director Dr. Bethany Novisky, CLIR President Dr. Charles Henry, and all of our wonderful CLIR colleagues, past and present. I would like to give a special shout out to Gail Schechter, Becca Kwan, Joy Banks, Sharon Burney, Aaron O'Donnell, and the person who made this all possible, Aliya Reich. They essentially planned 6 events and are running 3 this week. Thank you, team. It is an honor to speak to the largest DLF Forum crowd ever. Thank you for joining us this week. We're glad you're here. This year, our team was astonished, but not surprised, by the incredible generosity of our attendees, who together donated over $6,000 to DLF and the Baltimore Restaurant Relief Fund, Youth Empowered Society, and the DLF Child Care Fund. We are deeply appreciative of the generosity of and the hope inspired by your contributions. And we also want to acknowledge the many other types of contributions made this year by so many. Thank you. It was imperative that the DLF Forum and affiliated events had no registration charge this year. Support from our event sponsors made that possible. The 2020 DLF Forum and NDSA Digital Preservation sponsors are Aviary, AVP, Digital Bedrock, Discovery Garden, CLIR's Material Memory Podcast, PictureEye, and Cortex powered by Adam Matthew Digital. We thank them for their support, which is especially meaningful this year. I encourage everyone to visit them online in the Hall of Sponsors. DLF is supported by its over 160 member institutions, our incredible community, and countless volunteer hours. Thanks to you, DLF is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Stay tuned for more about that in the coming months. And now, a welcome message from CLIR's president, Dr. Charles Henry. Chuck, over to you.
Well, welcome everyone to the 2020 DLF Forum. First order of business, I would like to have a land acknowledgement. The image that you see is from Vermont, where I am talking to you from my home today. This land is the unceded land of the Abenaki, and I would like to acknowledge that with the deepest respect for their ancestors, their elders, the current citizens, and the rich cultural legacy of that nation. As Aliya and Louisa have said, this is a special forum. It is our first virtual forum, and I would like to acknowledge also the incredible work under Aliya's leadership of transitioning what has been for nearly 25 years, an in-person meeting with sometimes as many as 800 or more people milling around and learning and social networking and advancing their ideas and their projects, to one that is online. And the amount of work that it took to transition to this virtual forum was extraordinary. It appears to the outside seamless. And I would like to acknowledge just the terrific ideas and work, and above all, the collegiality of CLIR staff and the planning committee and others who are responsible for this online version. The forum is often described in terms of a meeting place where ideas, current business can be conducted, ideas are exchanged, and present work, often cutting edge work, is presented. It's a marketplace often of innovation, of exploration of possibilities and opportunities for the constituents, all of us who attend and learn from one another. And a Congress in the sense that this is the place where ideas are not only raised, but the program and the projects themselves, the forum and aspects of DLF can be discussed, adjudicated, and more than often improved and with progress and sort of wonderful new ideas that come out of this. It is a place, the forum, that individual voices can be heard, and in the sense of a Congress, all voices can be heard and respected. And I think it's that conflation and conglomeration of various voices that make this such a powerful event. And we hope to capture that as best we can virtually. As the slide shows, DLF and its forum, the very framing principles are advancing research, learning, social justice, and the public good through the creative design and wise application of digital library technology. I don't think we can say those words too often. They are core to DLF and certainly to the forum, and they're absolutely critical and integral to CLIR's mission and its aspirations. So thank you all again for coming together for this extremely important and I hope enlightening event. Before introducing Stacey Patton, our first plenary speaker, I did want to give a shout out to the DLF working groups. These include records transparency and accountability, the Born Digital Access, privacy and ethics, equity and inclusion, the DLF Committee on Forum Mentors. These are all so critical to the progress and advancement of the forum and to DLF itself. The working groups to me are kind of the engines of coherence and ingenuity. And I just want to again acknowledge their contributions both to this event, but to DLF and to CLIR over the years and we hope many years to come. Secondly, I'd like to draw your attention to a partnership that has been in the works for about a year and a half. Aliya alluded to this as well. It's the HBCU Library Alliance. We've been working with them since last year, and the partnership that came about of the preliminary discussions focused mostly on the extraordinary resources that the HBCU libraries have. And these resources are, we believe, collectively integral to a much richer understanding of American history. They are absolutely important to a better understanding of our national narrative. They bring nuance. They give rise to marginalized voices, sometimes suppressed voices, sometimes voices that were violently silenced. And these resources, as an integral part of our national narrative, we believe, are often hidden. These libraries, the HBCU libraries, have just an astonishing amount of rare and unique materials that could so enrich and help improve the understanding of our country and our place in it. So we've been working with the Alliance on getting together and doing some fundraising and planning to see how we can effect making those voices heard, those voices that are hidden, the voices that are quiet right now, and how we can work together to bring them back to life. So I'm very pleased to tell you that we have some important support from the Mellon Foundation to begin this critical work. There should be an announcement, a public announcement in the next several days, within the next week. So please keep your eye out for that. We feel that this is a pivotal project of enormous importance to our sense of being and to a much fairer, more accurate, and truer understanding of where we come from and who we are. There also, I think Aliya alluded to some presentations with our partners, the HBC Library Alliance, upcoming in the forum, and I encourage you to participate in those. I think they'll be of great interest to you. So I would like to turn now to introducing a wonderful scholar, a wonderful thinker, and a most compassionate member of our community, Dr. Stacey Patton. Dr. Patton is a member of the School of Global Journalism and Communication at Morgan State University. She is a research associate fellow at the Institute for Urban Research there. She's an award-winning journalist and a recognized and highly respected child advocate. Her books include That Mean Old Yesterday, a memoir, and forthcoming Strung Up, The Lynching of Black Children and Teenagers in America from 1880 to 1968. Dr. Patton's plenary talk could not be more timely, urgent, or critical, framed by the question, do Black lives matter in galleries, libraries, archives, and museums? So please stand by, and I would now turn you over to Dr. Stacey Patton. Thank you again.